What's up, guys? Megazord here. In my eternal quest to bring content, I'm going to be uploading all of my games from Monotype Premier League. I didn't really plan to, which is why I didn't upload them on a weekly basis. I didn't play all weeks. It was 7 weeks in the playoffs. We're not going to be in the playoffs. I was played weeks 4 through 7 because I was drafted to the Salacious Swampers, and they're like, yeah, you're fine as like a tester, bench warmer, sub, but not a starter, which is fine, you know. We can't all be heroes. But I ended up getting played weeks 4 through 7 in Mono Threat. And Mono Threat is not something I'd ever experienced before. Like, I played one game with the Twix team. It basically means you both have to bring the same type monotype. And you might think, well, it looks like there's no more matchup. And I'm just explaining for those of you who don't know. You're wrong. This is like... Objectively, my record wasn't bad. I think I did fine. I'm happy with it, but this is just objectively a really AIDS metagame. It's all about these stupid counter teams. This, 8 to 10 Pokemon viable on each type from what I can tell. Like, it was kind of disgusting. Really, just disgusting. But I did play weeks 4 through 7. I did alright. I just couldn't... I even had some fun. It's just a dumb meta. So, unfortunately, week 4 replays were down. I do have the paste spin right here, so if anybody wants to, I'm going to leave the paste spin in the description, but this is week 4 when everyone was predicting against me, because they're like, haha, it's Megazord, he's never played Mono Threat before. It's my first week, and basically I swept the floor with Crass in 12 turns. I get his Gastrodon on turn 2 with Freeze Dry Piloswine, because this is ground Mono Threat. We both have ground teams. Then he goes into his Swampert, and I trade my Piloswine for that, and then I go Mamoswine, and I get 1 kill, I get 2 kills, I get 2 kills, and then he goes Garchomp, and then I, kill that. I sack my Crocodile to that, and then I kill his Garchomp with Ice Shard from Mamoswine, and then I kill everything else with Mamoswine. So, Piloswine got 1 kill, and then Mamoswine got, 5, and that was the game. So, you're not really missing much. But I will leave the paste bin in the description. I just thought I might as well go through that, show it off, whatever. The next week I went against Eric, and Eric's as high as, apparently, basically the best person at Mono Threat. Like, him and Tickin, or TickTick. His showdown name is Tickin. His forum's name is TickTick. They're like the 2 best Mono Threat players, so I was still being heavily predicted against, which is fine, I'm just saying. I brought a team which I felt fairly confident with at the time. I had a few things like Nasty Plot, Ground Plate, Hidden Power Ground, Thunderous Tea, which just destroyed in testing. A few really cool things. It was built around AV Lantern pivoting to Choice Band Electivire. I felt pretty happy about this, pretty well tested. Unfortunately, what you're going to end up seeing is that there was nobody on my team, nobody who I tested with, who could end up telling me that, the set that he's going to just win with in, 20 turns, basically. I'm actually just going to speed this up a bit. Oh, I clicked last turn instead of next turn. He's going to get his Electivire in my Ampharos. I try to predict him to Ice Punch because I thought that'd be a way safer play. Doesn't happen. I go to Air Balloon Stunfisk because I thought he'd be choiced. He's not choiced. I'm getting fucked with, but the game is still possible to win. That sucked because I thought they all ran choice, but it's still possible for me to win the game. And I go Thundy. He goes Raikou. I go Lantern, assuming that if he's going Raikou, he'd just attack, right? Because Thundy can easily break the sub and start doing massive damage. I've already revealed him HP Ground. But what he ends up doing is straight subbing, and I just didn't get this play at all. Why would you straight sub on that? Especially since I'm Nasty Plot. He's Subcom Mine, which is fine. I knew Subcom Mine was a thing. I knew it was a very threatening thing. I went Electivire. I have a little bulk. Unfortunately, what he's going to do is get some rolls that are barely in his favor. Not by much, but they are barely in his favor to get me anyway here. That's fine. I have to go to my own Raikou here. But what you're going to see after a lot of turns is that he's actually Sub-Calm Mind, Extrasensory, and Roar. And I just didn't know Roar was a thing. I had no way to prep for it. If I had to go back and change the team, this Lantern would be physical with Waterfall, because that's about the best way to prep for Roar. Either that, or like your own Roar users. It's a cancerous meta. That's all I can say. So I definitely wish I could have had a better showing here. Unfortunately, I just straight up didn't know that Roar was a thing, and he's gonna mop the floor with me. So not much I feel I could do there. So that was 2 games over rather quickly. This next game is going to be against Disbelief. It was supposed to be against Prosaic, who's pretty good. He like just couldn't make it. I ended up having to call activity or sub or something. But at this point, we were actually getting destroyed in the week. We had been destroyed, and I figured, you know what? Our team is basically wrecked. I don't particularly care, and it's mono threat. So I brought what was like basically a joke team built around Mental Herb, Curse, Baton Pass, Umbreon to White Herb, Unburden, Liepard. I am entirely serious about this. I just didn't really give that much of a fuck, and looking back, I definitely regret that, because not only was my team kind of annoyed, not really annoyed, but annoyed enough so that I tried week 4, and I also would have liked to see how I could do, give myself a better showing, but regardless, the game is still interesting. So he's going to lead Hydreigon, I'm going to lead Sableye, and turn 1, he should just drop Draco. There's really no reason for him not to, so I go Umbreon, he taunts. Why he taunts, I have no idea, but I just wasted my Mental Herb, which is pretty big. I'm going to go back to Sableye. Oh, okay, he's going to taunt again, so I guess he's just not upset. And now, I'll go back to Umbreon to eat the Draco. I really don't agree with taunt. I am Dazzling Gleam Sableye. This is just no reason to do that. I just can't agree with that play, but it's oh well. So I'm going to double right back into Sableye, expecting to switch. No, he taunts. Like, okay. But now I can at least eat up the Draco Meteor a lot better because he's at -2. Still does like half, but Gleam does 57 because, you know, it's uninvested Sableye is weak as living hell. So he's just basically weakened 2 pretty important members really easily, and that's not good. It's just not. It's just pretty bad. So I believe he just goes Weavile here, which is fine. I expected him to Pursuit, so I'm gonna click Wisp. Figuring he's Lum. He wouldn't go Weavile unless he was Lum, but I thought he'd Pursuit. He ends up actually Icicle Crashing, which is a good prediction, I guess. I didn't really have to switch into that anyway, but I'm going to go Drapion. He goes right into Mandibuzz, as I'm like, okay, might as well drop a Toxic Spike, then I'm going to taunt him, because he can't Defog. As he cannot use Taunt after the Taunt, because I heard you like to, okay. That is a very bad meme, if we're being honest. I heard you like blank, so... Anyway. Ramblings on. I'm just going to Poison Jab into the Crocodile. That's pretty much okay. I might as well sack Umbreon because it doesn't do shit here. I can't Curse Pass because Taunt is really common in this meta. It's too low of health, so rip the Curse Pass stream. And even if I did, Liepard is not beating Wisp Sableye. But now I'm going to go into my own Crocodile. I'm going to click Rocks. He's going to click Rocks. You know, that's what you do. You click Stealth Rock, and he wins the speed tie on the turn it matters, which kind of sucks. I do have a Chovelberry at least, but would have been nicer to have a full health Crocodile, because what he's going to be able to do now, because of that, is go into Malamar. And Malamar, I didn't know this beforehand, because like I said, I don't really know the meta. It's Choice Scarf Contrary Superpower, which is a fucking threat that I really wish I had Sableye for, but of course I don't. That sucks. So I'm going to have to go Drapion. And because he's Scarf, I can tank the hit, and I'm going to make a bit of a misplay. I'm just going to Whirlwind him out. I could have gone for chip damage and then Whirlwinded him out. Could have taken 2, but I didn't. And that is going to come into play later, as his Sableye can just click Will-O-Wisp as I Whirlwind him out. He ends up going to Weavile, which is good for me. I would love to chip damage the Weavile so I could revenge it with Absol Sucker Punch, because at this point, Absol can maybe kind of possibly clean. It has Play Rough. It kind of depends on how much I can do to that Mandibuzz. So he's going to Icicle Crash. I'm just going to Poison Dab, chip him. So his Weavile is getting pretty fucking low. Low enough that it's not going to be able to switch into Rocks, so I can just go Absol. I do the Calc, and it turns out I can't SD on this, because I have to assume that he's Low Kick, because we both have Dark Teams. Why would you not run Low Kick? So I'm just going to take him out with a Sucker, as he goes into Malamar, and then here's where I really choke. Well, it's not really choke, but if I Sucker Punch,
He is 0-0 Malamar. Is just barely out of range. Just barely out of KO range here. Which is why, of course, I should have gotten the chip damage first. That would have been good. But Sucker Punch won't kill. What I did was I calced the max HP Malamar. And I realized even a crit Sucker won't kill. So I have to go to Liepard, sacrifice that, get off another turn of poison, and then pray for a crit. That's my only chance at winning. This is not actually, like, true, because Sucker would kill him to poison, but the only difference is, my win condition would be dodging a Will-O-Wisp with Liepard. Because, obviously, if Sableye burns it, I can't beat Mandibuzz. But if like, I can dodge a Wisp, then I can Encore him into Roost, if he goes for that, and otherwise play Ruffle 2 KO after the rocks. So, dodging Wisp with Liepard does have a better percentage than getting a crit, so technically that's the better play. Either way, I would have needed hacks to win at this point, because I should have Poison Jabbed with Drapion. Not saying I definitely would have won, because then I wouldn't have had the same Weavile chip, but I definitely would have had a better shot at taking this game. And he's going to Superpower. I'm going to go into Absol. I am not going to get a critical hit. I'm just not going to do it. He was, of course, in critical hit Sucker range. My calc was bad because he was not 0-0 Malamar, and that is going to be the game against Disbelief. Like I said, I wish I'd taken it more seriously. I did have a serious team lined up, but then after seeing my team was losing, I'm like, yeah, let's just spring Curse Pass. I feel bad about that. So, this is the game that happened today. Week 7 versus Ticken, who's like the really good mono threat player. Although why anyone would specialize in this, I honestly couldn't tell you. This time it's going to be Poison. Poison is interesting, because unlike the other ones, there's really no mons that take on your weaknesses, because there is not a single Poison-type mon that resists flying. There's no Poison Rock, there's no Poison Steel, there's no Poison Electric, which makes Crobat just fucking dumb. So I have Choice Band Crobat. I have Specially Defensive Venusaur because it takes on the Nidos, or so I thought. I was like, nothing else can, might as well run Venusaur. Most of the time they're actually Curse, like SpD Curse with Earthquake and Knockoff. But I ended up running like Sleep Powder and Leech Seed because, I don't know. I didn't think I needed Curse. I thought the utility in the Sleep would be more useful. Then I have Life Orb Nidoking with Earth Power, Ice Beam, Sucker Punch, because I'm mixed, and then I had to fit Rocks on somewhere. Max Speed, Choice Band, Drapion, they're more of like a taunt Swords Dance thing to set up on Venusaur or something, I don't really know. But I thought Choice Band would be nice, because if I could land some Pursuits, Pursuit in general, I feel like, is just really good in Monotype, because there are a lot of new viable things that get Pursuit that just aren't so viable. And Trapping is way more useful when it's such a matchup-based meta. So I like running Pursuit on a lot of things in Monotype. Drapion's no exception. If I can chip the Crobat, if I can surprise the Nidoking by being max speed instead of, like, bulky, I might get somewhere. Then I have Physically Defensive Crobat, Golbat, because it's the one thing that switches into Crobat. And then I have Life Orb, Rock Slide, Earthquake, Scolipede. In the last slot, I put Sword Stance, not really knowing what else to put. I'm not sure if they run that. Obviously, the last move is Protect. And Golbat is basically the only mon that takes on Scolipede and Crobat, which is why I have both Life Orb Scolipede and Choice Band Crobat to, like, hit shit. You know. One thing that kind of sucked is I had Quick Attack on Choice Band Crobat, Brave Bird, U-Turn, Zen Headbutt, because Poison, Quick Attack. But right before the game, I had Sleep Talk, because people were like, oh, Venomoth's a threat. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll put Sleep Talk on it. But then I hadn't seen any Venomoth in testing. I'm like, I can probably deal with it. I talked to All Falls Down, who was on my team. It's like, yeah, let's go with Quick Attack. And then he brings Venomoth. I'm like, well, I was hoping that did not happen. So I'm going to lead with the Venusaur, just expecting Nidoking, because Rocks lead. What I've seen is they're mostly like Sash and shit, so he's going to go right for Rocks. I just clicked Knockoffs, thinking, I don't know, Taunt, something? I don't know what they run. He's going to switch directly into Crobat, just right in. As I knock off again, he ends up being Acrobat, which is scary as fuck. Because, like, at this point, I'm sort of expecting Offensive Brave Bird,
Choice Band, something like that. But the fact that he's going to be Acrobat means that he can free up Taunt, he can free up Super Fang, he can free up a whole host of Hypnosis, whatever the fuck he wants to run. Which means that my physically defensive Golbat might not be as good. As I'm going to switch it in, he's going to be Taunt. And that makes this Crobat much more of a threat, because now my main counter cannot beat it. So I'm going to Brave Bird. I'm going to predict him to go for a Roost and switch directly into Drapion. And here's the cool thing about Mono Threat. I know that he's going to have to bring out Poison types, so I have Knockoff, Pursuit, and Earthquake. And then in the last slot, why not throw in a third Dark move in Crunch? It hits Mega Venusaur harder. So he's going to taunt me expecting Swords Dance or something, as I'm going to reveal Choice Band Crunch, do a solid half, and get the defense drop. So there's no way he's stalling it out. That means he's going to go right into Skuntank, as I'm going to predict either Skuntank or Golbat or something. Just go right to Nidoking. He's not staying in, so I can get at my rocks. These plays definitely put me in a good position. He goes to Nidoking. I do not want to risk the speed tie. I just don't. Nidoking is too valuable. I have a Venusaur. And if you'll notice, the only thing that Venusaur beats is Nidoking and maybe Skuntank, depending on the set. Maybe. Unlikely. I don't really need it. I just don't. Curse, Venusaur beats my Venusaur one-on-one. So he's going to reveal Taunt, which sucks, because I tried to Sleep Powder. He's going to reveal that he's actually lead Focus Sash with Taunt Super Fang, just to screw with Venusaur, which is like, okay. But that means he's Taunt Rock Super Fang Earth Power, so I'm going to go directly to Golbat. Both Golbat and Venusaur are fairly useless. But if I leave Venusaur in, he can kill me. Then I kill his Nidoking, he has the switch advantage. If I go to Golbat, as he Super Fangs, I can take him out with Brave Bird, and now it's a double down. Because I'm going to kill myself to Recoil, which is much more favorable. I didn't want to go Crobat, because I didn't want to get it chipped. Chip damage would suck. So I'm going to go right to Drapion, expecting, I don't know, maybe Crobat, maybe Venusaur. He ends up going Venusaur. I'm going to go directly into Crobat, expecting him to not knock off immediately, like Earthquake or something, but he makes a good play and knocks off. That does way more than I expect. Of course, I only did 16% with my knockoff. I expected like 16, but he didn't have an item, which is why he does that much. And at this point I realize my Golbat is dead. My Crobat is almost dead after Rocks and Brave Bird. And those were the two things that I have to beat Venusaur. Drapion, Choice Band, and Crunch, not doing enough, especially if he's physically defensive. I have to play very carefully not to just lose to this right now. So, expecting a switch, I'm just going to go for what I thought was a risk-free U-turn. Turns out he's physically defensive Skuntank with Rocky Helmet, and if he had put me in range of Stealth Rock, that would have been just awful. Fortunately, he doesn't. I'm going to go right to Nidoking. I can click Earth Power, not really fearing anything. If he goes Crobat, that's fine, just because I can eat up a hit and take him out, and I don't need this at full health. I just figured Earth Power was safer play. Now, right here is going to be a little unfortunate, and after the game, he called hacks and was a bit of a dick about it, if I'm being honest. Like, he just said, yeah, my opponent wasn't man enough to he hacks me. I'm like, no, I just posted one GG. But I'm going to get a critical hit. Now, I am a modest Sheer Force Life Orb Nidoking. He can EV Venomoth outspeed me in Sleep Powder, which he said he did. And if that is true, then he is like max HP, max SpDef. That's just a fact. And even if he Sleep Powders, the game is not... Like, he suggested the game would be over. Because he would Roost, he would Quiver Dance, and he would win. Like, he went to talk to me, and he told me that. And obviously, I'm going to switch out. I'm not going to let him set up. Regardless, that would have given him a better edge in the game. Do I think he would have just won? No. Just because Scolipede is still the same threat. But would it have helped? Yes. And only because he got kind of mad, and then said he wasn't really mad. I don't really know what's up with him, so maybe he's not mad. I feel the need to, explain more about that. So, he's going to get crit. Go right into Venusaur, as I'm just going to scout what kind of set he is, and I'm going to see that is definitely specially bulky, because I'm modest, Life Orb, Sheer Force. Well, maybe I'm timid. I think I'm modest. The problem is I didn't remember, because the team builder fucked up my EVs after I entered the game. So, he's going to take me out. I go to Crobat, and basically my play was, click Brave Bird, Skuntank dies,
I die because Rocky Helmet, then we're good, because I can go to Scolipede and Swords Dance, or I can go to Drape, or something. Unfortunately, what happens is that I don't kill him because my Choice Band got knocked off, and Crobat's too weak after that, because I'm jolly, I'm not adamant. That means I have to go to Drapion. I am just going to click Earthquake to not get Rocky Helmeted, and basically force him into Golbat. I didn't think he'd want to go Venusaur, because obviously Drapion can do a lot to it. So I'm going to directly just sack my Venusaur to him. And basically, I'm just trying to dance around him, because if he sets up curses with his Venusaur, I could be fucked. Because my thing to kill it is Choice Band Drapion and Scolipede. So if he sets up curses, those aren't going to break through it. It was basically a 50-50 right here. I was really considering doubling into Drapion, then I'm like, no, I think he's going to Brave Bird. I stayed in. Ends up working out for me, because I can just go to Drapion. Scolipede doesn't kill Crobat, like Golbat. It just won't, unless I knock it off. But based on the damage that I did to Venusaur with Nidoking, I'm almost positive that 2 Choice Band knockoffs after Stealth Rock will kill him, even with reduced damage. So I'm gonna just knock off, as it does a lot, and he Brave Birds, takes out my Drapion, and at this point I can go to Scolipede. Life Orb Adamant Pede is just going to come in here, take out the Golbat with a Life Orb Rock Slide, and my safest play, because I don't have Mega Horn, is just the Swords Dance, and hope he doesn't crit me. Like, if he crits me, I'm going to lose, but if he synthesises, then I can just 2-hit KO him anyway, so it just comes down to a crit. He does. I'm going to click Earthquake and just pray I don't get crit at the end. Does 69%, and once I see 6%, I know I'm not getting crit, and of course I don't. It's 6%. Might not have killed, actually. 34, 22, I don't know that would have killed. Anyway, I ended up pulling out a very clutch win. I was the first person to play on my team, so I don't know if we'll win the week. We're not going to playoffs anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed some Mono Threat. It's kind of AIDS. It just is. So, yeah, see you next time.